Hello and welcome to the daily number workout, number 61 for fifth grade. So let's get started with our word form. One. And because there's a 1 in the ones place value, it is an odd number. All right, let's get down to factors. 1 and 61. And that's it. No other numbers go in evenly. So because it's just 1 and 61, it is a prime number. Very boring numbers are prime numbers. Our multiples. We're going to do 61. Of course, 1 times 61 is 61. Let's do 2 times 61. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. So we have 122. And hopefully you did all this before I came on so that you're just checking your work. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 183. 61 times 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. 244. 61 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 305. 61 times 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. So we have 366. 61 times 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 427. 61 times 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. 488. 61 times 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 6 is 54. 549. And then 10 times any number is that number with a 0 in the ones place. And we're done. So look at this. This is 1 and then 2 times 1, 2 times 1. So we have the pattern of every other 2 and then 2 2s is 4. We got 2 4s. Then we have 3 and 2 6s, 4 and 2 8s. So down the road, if we got to 11, or I'm sorry, not 11. I think the buck stopped right here on that one. All right. So we had a pattern for a little bit. All right, let's move on to our next categories. So I'm going to take all these up. And our next category, of course, is our partial numbers, fractions, decimals, percents, and ratio. So we know that it's going to be 61 over 100. So we're 61 out of 100 daily number workouts for this year. And because 6 and 61 are the only factors of 61, none of those go into 100 evenly, or 61 doesn't go in, 1 does, but we're not going to get equivalent fractions. So that's it. That's in lowest terms right there. And then we're going to change this into our decimal form, which is 0 and 61 hundredths. Our percent, of course, would be 61%. And then our ratio would be 61 colon 100 or 61 to 100. So we have those written down. Let's go ahead and do the word form. So this is 61 hundredths. And remember that TH means part of a number. Then we have 0. And for our decimal, 60. Oops, this is supposed to be a TY. Sorry about that. Made my little mistake. 61, 0 and 61 hundredths. And then if we take our decimal and put it into dollar form, it would be $0.61. So we would write that $0.61. Beautiful. All right, we're done with our partial numbers. Now we're going to move on to area and perimeter. So I'll move my paper up. And of course, today is really easy since it's a prime number. So our first one, we'll draw 61 by 1. Remember, our rectangle is not even close to being 61 of anything by 1. It's definitely not a perfect representation, but it's a rectangle, and we're just going to say that's what it is. So our area for this would be 61 times 1 equals 61. And since we're talking area, it is square units. Our perimeter would be 61 plus 1 plus 61 plus 1 equals, and we know from up here at the top, 2 61s is 122 plus these two, so it would be 124 units. Linear is just units. All right, we're looking good there. Let's go ahead and do our other one, which would be a 1 by 61. So we have 1 by 61. Remember, this is our width and this is our depth or height. That again equals 61. 1 times any number is itself. Perimeter would be a 1 plus 61 plus 1 plus 61 equals 124. Looking good. All right, let's move on to volume. So we're going to take the same one and we're going to draw it out. So we got 61 by 1 deep by 1 tall. Now we're doing cubic units. Volume is cubic units. So our volume here would be 61 times 1 times 1 equals 61 cubic units. All right, let's try the next one, which would be a 1 by 61 by 1 tall. I'm going to draw that for you. 1 by 61 by 1. 1 by 61 by 1. Now, you might not have the same order as me. That's okay. Just check them off. Check them off. No erasing. So that's how that looks. We have one more, which would be a 1 by 1 by 61 tall. So here it is. 1 by 1 by 61. So that volume would look like this. 1 times 1 times 61. Cubic, oops, equals 61 cubic units. So remember, we always, when we're talking about coordinates, when you get to coordinates, we always want to walk first before we climb. So it's width by depth by height. Width, depth, height. So we're always doing those first to come around. It just makes it nice and easy. Something to remember. We're always walking along the ground before we go up the ladder. All right, that's it for the number 61. It's pretty simple when they're prime. Have a great day.